Shalom, everyone. This is Brother Mike Joseph coming to you from King James Bible University. Before we get started, I'd like to inform everyone King James Bible University does not affiliate with any Christian doctrines, Christian camps, Israelite doctrine, Israelite camps, um, any Black Power movements, Hebrew Israelite movements also. Today, we'll be learning about hunger and appetite, or you could say hunger versus appetite. And we can go through a couple of scriptures and see what's going on. The question is, are you hungry or do you have an appetite? Is there a difference between the two? And let's start here with Matthew 5. And we're going to go to verse 6. And it reads, Blessed, so wisdom is given, are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. So, the ones who hunger and thirst after righteousness, they'll be filled with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right? So, but you got to hunger after it. So it says, so the scripture tells us to hunger after righteousness. But what is hunger? Hunger is a reaction given by the body when it's lacking on energy and when it is time to provide the sustenance it needs for it to function properly. With hunger, there is an internal cue where signals get sent to the brain. Symptoms include stomach growling, headaches, even what's known as being hangry, which hangry, Hangry, is when hunger makes someone angry and irritated. These things are sufferings that happen to the body when hunger comes. Let's see an example of us being hangry. And we're going to go to Exodus 16, verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we have died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. We can get besides ourselves and get prideful when we do get hungry. Without shame, when hunger, we can be without shame also when it comes to hunger in the flesh. But when the spirit is hungry and it knows there's good food out there, that will fill it up. It will be humbled and do whatever it needs to eat. How can one know hunger if they never had to go through adversity? True character is shown through hunger. Will we rob and steal and beg? Or will we wait on the Lord to be fed? Let's see. Because some will rob, steal, and beg. And we can look here. Let's go to the Apocrypha in Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 40. Verse 28, it says, My son, lead not a beggar's life. That's a full thought. For better it is to die than to beg. Okay. Let's go to Psalms. Verse 5. Because who's gonna lead us? Lead me in thy truth and teach me. For thou art the perfection of beauty, the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all day. So we wait on the Lord to give us our food. Because why? James 1 verse 5. And it reads, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So we gonna get fed. Be with patience. We will be fed. And then we're gonna go to Ecclesiastes 10. Read verse 17. And it says, blessed art thou, the perfection of beauty, thou, O land, talking about the people, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. So, when we do eat, we eat for strength. So you hunger, you eat to strengthen yourself, not for drunkenness, doing too much. Coming out of the womb, we learn what hunger is. Coming out of the womb, we learn that hunger is with full desire. Like as a baby, we drank milk every 2 hours constantly, getting full, then getting hungry, crying, getting food, then getting hungry, and getting fed. Every 2 hours, it would be constant. We'd eat, then go to sleep. We'd eat, then go to sleep, eat, poop, and it's just with milk. All right? Our dependence would be solely on our mother and father, just like it would be with the Spirit of God. And we're going to go to Deuteronomy 8. We're going to read verse 3. Remember, I said with hunger, it shows true character. It's showing what you will do to eat. No? And let's read it. It says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord does man live. So this is what we live by, and this is what we should hunger for. So, and hunger will prove us. All right? But let's see what can happen. In Psalms 107, hunger may prove us, but some of us be proved not be on the right side. And it says, hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. So some of us fainted. We can't be proven with this hunger because we're not going to go hunt for the food ourselves, go get it ourselves. We expect to be like babies and get fed spoon in mouth by someone else. All right? Throughout this, we'll see that hunger is satisfiable. Daily we get hungry, daily we should eat till we are full. So there's a way we get full daily, but we will hunger daily, but we can be full. All right? Now we're going to look at appetite. Let's see appetite. We're going to go to Proverbs. Remember, hunger is satisfiable. Appetite, Proverbs 25. Verse 1. Verse 16. And it says, hast thou found honey? Did we find these three things? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee. So we eat what's sufficient for us. Lest thou be filled therewith. Lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. You eat too much, you're going to throw up. Overeating, on the other hand, will cause vomit, stomach aches, and different pains. It is like this. Let's go to Romans. Okay. Well, before we go there, let's go to Proverbs 28, verse 22. And it reads, he that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, evil understanding, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. Just trying to eat everything, learn everything, just not taking nothing into consideration, just eating. Okay, he's in a rush. There's no patience there. But let's see here in Romans 11:33, it reads, oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, his doctrines and teachings, and his ways past finding out. So a person with an evil eye thinks they're going to know everything. He tells us it's unsearchable. We just have to keep searching diligently with patience, and we'll be fed. But here they hasten in a rush. But we're going to see some more, and we're going to go back to hunger. All right? Hunger is a suffering experience which teaches us to work and be diligent, or we will end up suffering because lack of food and nutrients. Let's go to Proverbs 19. And we're going to jump from hunger to appetite back and forth a little bit. So let's go to Proverbs 19. We're going to go to verse 15. It says, slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So, an idle soul, one that does not work, one that is lazy. So these right here gonna be hungry because they lazy. They won't put in no work, so they won't They're just lazy. And these won't eat. But then there's some that is overeating and not considering. But let's go to 2 Thessalonians 3. We're going to look at verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any man would not work, neither shall he eat. He shouldn't learn, because he's not putting in no work. Right? So it says, you work to have provisions to eat. To eat, you have to work. The more you work, the faster you digest your food and you get hungrier. So that's the natural buildup of your body. The more you work, the more you eat, the more you can take in. The bigger you get, the bigger you can eat, the more you can eat. All right, we're going to go here to a staple scripture, and it reads, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 34. And it says, if any man hunger, so you got these headaches, a stomach pain, and your stomach's growling, let him eat at home. Eat at home, that you come not together unto condemnation. And the rest will I set in order when I come. So you eat at home, learn at home, do your work at home. Because if you work at home, studying, you'll be full. All right? Reason being, we should be full because we can't come to God empty. All this food he provided, but we decide not to eat. So we're going to go back to our staple scripture. We will probably do this every single time. All right. All right. So because let's do this. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. So that's Romans 1:20. Even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. So we can't come to him empty. So we have to be full, right? So that body can get all the nutrients that it needs. And the only way we do that is if we work. Okay? Because there's no excuses, because he already gave us everything we need to eat. All right? And this is the reason we should be full, because we can't come to God empty. And let's look at Ecclesiasticus, which is also known as Sirach. And we're going to go to 35. And we read verse 4. And it says, thou shalt not appear empty before the Creator. So, when that time comes, and we have to make that appearance to God. And look at Romans 1:20, the last part. So they are without excuse. We should be full at that time. You know, eating patiently, eating the right things, and being full. So we can become as empty things. And let's look at Malachi 3. Right? And it says, will a man rob God? That's a question. And yes, yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? Okay, so how we robbed you? In tithes and offerings. All right, we robbed them in these tithes and these offerings. We ain't offering nothing. We not bringing nothing to the storehouse. Yeah. And we're going to skip to verse 10. It says, Malachi 3:10, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, which is us, that there may be meat in my house. So it's going to be doctrine in his house. All this food in this world that we can clearly see. And prove me now herewith, said the Spirit of God of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. So remember, one of the first scriptures we read was that Matthew 5 verse 6. And it says, Blessed are they that which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. So they're going to hunger after righteousness daily, continually, learning and seeking righteousness, which is these tithes and these offerings, and we have to bring it to the storehouse, which is our bodies, learning constantly and daily. That's that true hunger, right? Because we can't appear to him empty. All right. And then we're going to go back to appetite. Appetite, however, is when the body does not need to eat, as it would not contribute to helping the effects in the body. It is a forced eating, either from desire or lust and greed. And it's going to read, we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus. Which is also known as Sirach 31. We're going to read verse 12, and it reads, If thou sit at a bountiful table, be not greedy upon it, and say not there is much meat on it, there's much doctrine on it. When you sitting somewhere, it's a feeding ground, there's a lot of, don't be talking about how much doctrine is here. Oh, I can eat everything. Let me eat everything. Right? As we see, there is a time to be hungry and a time to be full. As we learn, we get full from what was given to us. But to properly get the nutrients from it, we must meditate. Not being greedy, because once we eat, everything has to be broken down in our stomachs. And it's pointless if we don't meditate. And this is an issue I have, and seeing this is just, helping me too. Well, helping me, not too, but hopefully it helps you too. All right. And let's go to Joshua, because we don't want to be greedy, just thinking that it's just making haste to learn everything. Gotta first understand everything. You gotta take your time and understand it and learn. Joshua 1 verse 8, and it reads, This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So, it's not about just eating, it's about meditating. Because you could eat all day long, you could eat all day long, But but if you don't meditate, it won't break down properly. And that means all the knowledge you're getting, you won't get understanding and you won't get wisdom from it. And the whole point is to get wisdom from it, to know what we need to do to get right. All right? And it reads, Leviticus 11. And it reads, verse 3. We're going to see how we should, when we do eat, how we should. Leviticus 11:3, it says, Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye should eat. We must be as one that cheweth the cud, one that considers without haste, like appetite. A sheep will eat 12 hours a day, some a little less, some a little more. But the other 12 hours, that food in its belly is being broken down. Broken down. And they eat till the full. They always eat until they're full. Once they're full, the food in their belly breaks down. Because they regurgitate it and they break it down. They regurgitate it, break it down. And simply that is how we must be. To be able to eat, take a lesson, eat it, then consider and ponder on these things as a sheep. That's why we're considered sheep. All right? Because again, we're going to get back here, and it says, Proverbs 28, verse 22. And it reads, He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come unto him. So you just rushing, right? You rushing, trying to get rich, right? But we should be as sheep. Let's look at sheep. Let's look at their eating pattern. Grazing habits. They typically graze for several hours each day, often grazing about 6 to 8 hours daily, especially in the early morning and late afternoon. All right. All right. Let's look. Let's look at something else. See when sheep stop eating. So sheep do stop eating under certain conditions, such as they are overfed or have access to high-calorie foods like grain. They typically eat when the food is available, but if they are not eating, it could indicate health issues or stress. So they start eating when they're overfed. So you eat to the full. Eat to when you're full. Once you're full, get into the meditation process, because some may not be able to handle. All right. Now, let's look at what Paul said in Philippians 4 in verse 12 it says, I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. There is no need when it comes to appetite, no desire, no fulfillment, only eating for the sake thereof. It is a way to gain weight forcefully or even unknowingly. And let's go to Haggai 1 verse 6, and it reads, all right, let's go back. Let's read verse 5. Now for that reason, thus said the Spirit of God of hosts, consider your ways. So all this food you eat, consider about it. Think about what you eat, and like all the stuff you learn. Take your time and think and meditate and ponder on these things. And it reads in verse 6, you have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with the drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So what is the point of learning all this and it's all just falling out of the bag? Right? And we'll see if when we are getting this knowledge, we don't meditate. And this to myself, I'm telling you. And we don't meditate and take the time to learn, to understand what we just heard, what we took notes on. This is what we're considered. Proverbs 27, verse 20, and it reads, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. So brother could just talk something when we don't even understand some of it, right? But then we jump to another one. Then we jump to another one, not taking the time to consider. Because what the bag is with holes, the stomach has got a hole in that stomach. Right? There's a hole in our stomach, and we can't keep doctrine. Right? It's not breaking down properly. All right. You may want to keep overeating. You may want to, but it becomes lustful and evil because we're not understanding what's actually happening. It's wanting to be in the know, but not having comprehension of what actually is going on. And let's see something. Ecclesiasticus 37. Dang, I use this Ecclesiasticus a lot. (37). Let's look at 31. 37 verse 31. It reads, by surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his his life. We surfeiting, overeating. A lot of people perish overeating. Too much that they can handle. People have died from this. Let's look at Ecclesiastes. Took us 38. I'm sorry. Ecclesiasticus 31, verse 13, and it reads, remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than an eye? The understanding. Therefore, it weepeth upon every occasion. So your eye, your understanding, wants to eat everything. It's considered evil because it's not taking the time to meditate, consider. It gets to be wicked. All right. And verse 20. And it says, let's go here. 31, verse 20. Same chapter, just verse 20. It says, sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him. But the pain of watching and choler and pangs of the belly are with an unsatiable man, someone that can't control his eating. That's when they get these stomach pains, right? They want to overeat. Won't take the time for the food to break down properly in their stomachs, in their hearts, for them to understand what's clearly going on. All right, now we're going to go to verse 37. Ecclesiasticus 37, verse 29, and it reads, be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. Don't be doing too much, man. Take your time. Take your time. But be ready to hear the good things. But don't be unsatiable. All right? For excess of meats, let's read verse 30. For excess of meats bringeth sickness and surfeiting, and will turn into choler. All right? So you overeating, you ain't considering the food's not getting broken down. You just in the know. Instead of truly just eating to be full. All right. And let's go to Isaiah. And we're going to go to 56, verse 11. And this is what we don't want to be. Yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. It's appetite. That's appetite. Gets greedy. And I know a brother, he posted something on Facebook. He was like, I forgot how he said it, but there's a difference. He wanted to know what is the difference. He knew, but he just posted it up. Like, knowledge seeker, between the knowledge seeker and the knowledge hunter. Right? The knowledge hunter gonna devour. The seeker gonna search things out. You know? But now we're back to hunger. Hunger of the fleshly body shows the weakness of it. Its dependence on the earthly food. So now we're just talking about flesh now. And its dependence on the earthly food that remains alive, and so that it may remain alive and active. The body itself cues that it needs to eat and that it's hungry. As for our flesh, it will satisfy itself and do what's best for it to stay alive. However, the spirit of someone has the decision of what that said flesh will eat and what that spirit will bring in. And we're almost finished, and it reads, and we're going to go to Deuteronomy 12, verse 20. And it says, when the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee. He promises this. He enlarge our border. And thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because for this reason thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh, whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. All right. Within hunger is a longing, a want, and a need for food. And once eating is complete, there comes satisfaction and gratification from the food. All right. So we may, in the flesh, eat these things, but our soul has to be satisfied from it. Just go to Joel, because if there's no satisfaction, we're just going to continue eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Joel 2, verse 26, and it reads, and ye shall eat in plenty, and be what? Satisfied. And praise the name of the Spirit of God, your guide, that have dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never be ashamed. We shouldn't be hungry. As far as suffering these things, we won't be ashamed, because he's gonna eat plenty, because there's always food. We shouldn't be trying to rush and be never full. All right. Now we're going to go to Exodus 16, verse 16. It says, these are going to be our last scriptures. It's what we're going to fall on, all right? This is the thing which the Spirit of God hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man, male or female, for them which are in his tents. All right? Get enough for you, get enough for your companion, right? And the children of Israel did so, and gathered how much? Some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. It wasn't too much for them. And he that gathered little had no lack. It wasn't too small. They gathered every man according to his eating. This was a measure set for us. We eat as much as we are able to. Not over, not under. As much as we are able to get in our bellies, in our hearts, because as a child is, let's look at a baby. The baby eats and it grows. It eats and it grows. It eats some more and it grows. With patience, it continually grows. No mother is gonna force their child to overeat. Because what happens is they will throw the food up automatically. They will throw it up. But as they grow, they can eat more. As we grow, we can eat more. We can eat more and eat more and eat more. But if you're just eating just to eat, there's no point to that, because the nutrients is not breaking down. You're not considering, you're not understanding. We have to selah, we have to meditate. Alright? So, hunger is a daily thing. And when we hunger, we eat and get full. Let the body break the food down. We hunger again. Appetite. You're going to continue just stuffing your face. Stuffing your face, stuffing your face. And what that will bring, vomit and other things like diarrhea and health issues. So, hopefully, we got some from that. And I bid everybody a shalom. Hopefully, everybody has a good day today. Shalom.